Hi, everybody. For this episode of Attention Zone, I have the wrong T-shirt, a guy with a scarf, because I'm traveling. I'm in London. It's late night because I have with me my friend from Los Angeles, from LA, Bhavesh Upadhyaya. And so you have quite a background there, sport and entertainment, right,
Carlo.
Bhavesh? Ciao.
Ciao, Carlo. It's I like to keep a fun background so that people can have fun trying to identify small little Easter eggs of things here and there. I'm a big fan of sports and the Olympics, and as you can tell, I'm in LA. I've got the Dodgers shirt as well as the World Series scarf. So a guy with the scarf, I've got a scarf here too.
And you
Um,
mentioned the Olympics, sorry. So
the Olympics,
we
I've got my Olympic flag as well as from Beijing when we went in 2008. They a little model of the bird's nest from back then.
yeah,
Um,
but also I see an Emmy Awards.
that Emmy is from the Beijing Olympics, as well as
Excellent.
a couple of Emmy nomination plaques and a patent as well too. Just some things that you and I have been in the career for quite a while. Just things that I've been picking up.
Yeah, it's true that we met during the in 2007, so 18 years ago, at the beginning
Yeah.
of streaming, as we call it today. So adaptive
Hmm.
bitrate, Silverlight, correct, with Microsoft behind, mass
Yep.
scale, the Beijing Olympics. So that was really for us the start, and maybe for everybody, the start of the streaming technology, as we call it today,
It
I would
was
say.
it was the very I remember our friends at Microsoft and Alex Zambelli, I'll shout him out because he's a great guy. Coming
Yeah.
up with that first concept of segmenting out VOD video and doing it in chunks and then sending it back out so we could see higher quality, higher bitrate video from a viewing perspective and just have it pick up new fragments along the way. It was the advent of everything that we're working on now.
Yeah, a bit of
At scale,
nostalgia.
at scale.
It
Mhm.
it was a 30 Rock. So the first time I saw adaptive bitrate with DVR
Mhm.
was the Obama "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you" video, and a concert at 30 Rock before sport, to be honest. But okay,
Very
stop
cool.
with the nostalgia. What about your career? You've been in very different places that create quite a good observation point of the evolution of streaming from those ages to today.
Absolutely. I've the experience at NBC with the amazing people over there really helped kind of take a look at the entire end to end of what does it take to go from broadcast all the way out to the video player, and then that got me into VP of operations for iStreamPlanet for 5.5 years. An amazing group of folks over there having the time of our life creating amazing streaming solutions as well too. And we had amazing customers like Microsoft and NBC Sports, NBC Olympics again as well too. Sunday Night Football. We streamed the first Super Bowl,
Oh,
and it
wow.
was incredible to look at the evolution of streaming at that time to now go from just fragmented chunks to full blown HLS, now Dash, everything else that came through. And at that time, smooth streaming, getting that
But the
out into the
focus
HD world.
at that beginning, the focus was uh, about video. No, what was the question
Absolutely,
that
you're
everybody
you're
asked?
absolutely. It was about can this be done? It was the
That's
experimentation days, and it frankly gave everybody such amazing leeway to make a little bit of mistake here and there because we were all trying something new, very different than the expectations today, for sure.
yeah.
Um, that led to a role at Verizon Digital Media running the professional services, and so that gave me now an experience in the CDN side as well as the video delivery uplink side. So we have Edgecast and Uplink as the two main solutions platforms over there, and then you get to see the impact of video delivery from a CDN perspective, and you see how it's going out from there. And you also see it from a cloud delivery perspective with Uplink. You can see how you're doing server-side ad insertion. You're doing, and now for the first time, now we're working with subscription customers as well too. And you see how advertising is playing a big important role now in streaming. The evolution of advertising from I think from the very first time with Beijing, it was simply just pre-roll, and that was about it. Then with Vancouver, we actually got to the point where we
2010,
had it
2010.
2010. We got to a point where we had worked with NBC, Microsoft, encoding providers, video player engineers, etc., to come up with a mechanism to inject, basically ad markers and ad tags into the video while it's being encoded. And so then the player would simply just look for that tag and know what it had to, which ad it had to pull from an ad provider. After Verizon Digital Media, I'd gone to Delta Trade for a little bit, and worked with you guys on some operations side to get things ready for the United States. And then from there, I moved into Discovery Plus, and started evolving my role into more of a product role, and now looking at quality of experience from a user perspective, but now looking across the entire breadth of what Discovery had, along with every single component like Eurosport. We did this during the pandemic, and so if you recall, the summer Olympics, when Italy won the
amazing, yeah.
relay as well as the high jump, and that was a fun one.
Yeah.
And it was fun listening to. I know this is just more for you, but it was amazing listening to the Olympics with the Italian commentators running all the time, because so much energy.
And I like that you say quality. So initially, if there was a reason for people to churn, it was about quality, right?
Absolutely. You watch the evolution go from science experiment. It works. Oh my God, I'm actually able to watch this on my phone. Oh my God, I'm driving, or I'm not home, or I'm at work. I can watch something, and there's excitement there, and there's also a little bit of a give and take, that there's no expectation either. But now, once you've got, it's ubiquitous. Everyone has video now. Everyone has an ability to get out there. The technology is evolving to the point where quality doesn't matter as much, because once you get to a certain point, everyone's fine. Now they focus on what is the content. What are the other things that are on there? If you've got bad quality, you're out the door anyway. So you're out. So now you're with your competition. Everyone has an equal level, equal playing field, where the expectation is it should just work. And if it doesn't work, they're going to be talking about it right away.
Yeah.
Not as a
Who
science experiment.
do you think has mastered the quality at scale?
Netflix has been phenomenal in the industry in terms of not only their expectations for what their quality is supposed to be, but also with the engineering for what they do behind the scenes in order to get to that level of quality at scale. I know that people have talked about the Tyson match as something of a negative experience, but if you think about it, I would believe that the majority of the folks did have good quality, and at the, I mean, no one quit. No one quit Netflix because of that. It wasn't like a mission critical kind of thing. But it was a fun thing to watch. But I'm sure they learned so much more about the network traffic, about where those fine edges are, the rough edges within their content delivery platform. They figured that out, and they have the ability to spend the time and money to get better and better, to get to that 5 nines of quality, 6 nines of quality, if they want to get to that point. Other providers, especially coming from the Hollywood area, and we're feeling it here, the budgets aren't there anymore. So they don't have the ability to spend that much time going beyond and getting that higher percentile of quality, because it's too much money for little bang. And instead they need to focus on cost savings, and or looking at the way why are people turning, and if it is for content, let's focus on the content side instead as well too. So I think it's a given now that quality is there, and now it's a matter of saying people are not going to quit. They're not, but how do you retain them outside of quality once you get to a certain point?
And in terms of I call it the subscription economy. It's a very personal thing. I have so many subscriptions between streaming, software, and now AI tools. That's embarrassing. I really have a problem tracking everything I'm paying as a subscription. And obviously, I think this is a model that in the US works very well. But how do you see the monetization model? So obviously, we know subscription and advertising now is almost everybody's doing the hybrid model. Yeah. How do you see a customer in the US, especially churn multiple? What is the experience for user in the US now on that side?
I think a lot. So there's and this would be interesting to get the numbers from these providers, but I think there's going to be a solid a group of people who are like the, the loyalists. They're always going to be there. They're always going to be just paying for it. They've ignored the subscription, and then they're just there. Then there's like you've got this group of people who are I wouldn't say like casuals, whatever, but they're the ones who are trying to game the system. How do I quit one subscription, go to the next one, go back to this one, go back? So they're in the role to watch, but they're gonna be careful of where they're watching. I think uh, HBO has always got a great opportunity. Like at least once a quarter, there's an amazing series that everyone wants to watch. So I think that's a great opportunity for people to kind of join in, so that they're part of the conversation, and they can talk
Mhm,
about it with their friends. Did you watch this episode yet? Did you watch that episode yet? But then they quit when it's done. So
mhm,
I think how do you how do you and does it matter? What do you want to do to keep these people there longer? Do you want to
mhm.
segment that out and come up with packages for folks? And I think Jeff had some great ideas on the last retention zone. How do you come up with packages for these different types of customers that are out there? The ones who are trying to game the system, the ones who are just there for a little bit, like binge watch one series and then quit out. Um, and then the loyalists say that one of the things that I think you and I talked about this earlier as well too is why isn't there more of like a rewards system like you see from ice cream shops and things like that, which is you do this much and we'll give you one free. I think there's some great ideas to be made there. Like if you are a binge watcher or whatnot, if you're doing something like that, maybe you get a couple like a binge token saying, hey, you're going to get 2 free days of this stuff. If you've watched like a week's worth of ads and you get to a certain point of ads per month, maybe you get 3 4 days of ad free. There's lots of different ways that you can go about, but no one's I don't see anybody coming up with that imaginative way to keep people there longer.
I think that I have been involved um, in many discussion about on one side pricing, and on the other side, I've been involved in discussion where you say, okay, because we want to acquire, let's do a promotion. And there was
Mhm.
always someone in the room say, but for the people that are paying since 2015, what are we
Yeah.
doing? But
Mhm.
that's money in the bank. So the loyalist, there is
Yeah.
in general, I've seen a little, not a not a lack of empathy, but saying, okay,
Mhm.
if these people are paying in any case, why should
Yeah.
we give money, give if you want revenue away? Because in the end, it's pure
Yeah.
revenue, pure margin, to be honest, almost.
Agreed. But I think now what's happening is that even amongst the loyalists, they're coming up with different layers.
Yeah.
I think everyone's come up with a, you can have your normal account, but if you want 4K, if you want Dolby Atmos, it's additional. If you want the sports package, if you want the news package, now it's additional. So there are going to be things that now you can say, hey, if you've been a loyalist and you've had this for, you know, 12 months in a row, 24 months in a row, etc., you should get something out of that. Let's say you get a week or a month's worth free of the Dolby Vision. Maybe you like it so much that you want to keep it next time. Maybe you get, you know, keep the news going for a little while, keep a sports package going for a little bit. Let that come through as something that it's not going to cost them that much money. They're already a customer. It's just a small
Mm.
little uptick. But if you're doing it for 12 months, maybe you get 1 month free or something like that. Who knows?
Mhm,
But
mhm,
I think
mhm.
they can come up with an imaginative way to your point. Hey, I've been a a subscriber for so long. What benefit do I have? Otherwise, you're forcing people to quit and then come back again as a new.
Uh, uh, uh,
Yeah.
uh. And in terms of you've been always in between operation and product. So let me say something a bit provocative.
Mhm.
Did you see a moment from where the heroes in the video delivery team were supplanted by the heroes in the marketing team, in the direct to consumer marketing team that increased 30% or 19 million subscribers more? Did you see this dynamic, or it's just me imagining it happening inside the organization
I
on the client side?
I think there are no heroes when it comes through like that. I think a lot of the people on the operational side also understand that they don't want to be heroes. They want to get to a point where operationally everything is stable, so that you in the beginning when we were doing it, Carlo, we had to be the heroes to fix things. I think what but as you evolve and you become more mature of an operational team, you understand that you don't want to chase um, be a firefighter. You want to maintain a solid state. So there was more it was more gracious for them to say, absolutely, marketing team, take the hero platform. Go figure out a great go figure out a great plan that brings in a lot more subscribers. And the operations team's job will be to make sure that nobody leaves because of quality.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
Create the base, and now
mhm.
for the marketing team, go increase the ceiling.
Through this year, when you were on the client side,
Mhm,
I can imagine the beginning, everybody was trying to do whatever worked, but at a certain point, some company was very specialized, and there were a lot of OTT being created, especially in sport and media. Now we see the big guys, big tech, the Netflix, etc., big media aggregating. Discovery, Warner Bros. It's a good example.
mhm,
How do they build the streaming platform and operate, etc.? It's a creating huge internal teams, creating a select set of partners. What was the
mhm.
process to bring this platform to life?
That's it's a very important question to answer, and I think there's some really good architects working on that now as well too. From what I had been a part of, I think it was a very intelligent strategy to create. And first of all, it was not many times that you get a chance to work on building up a brand new OTT platform that already has 100 million customers right from the get go, and you've got
Mm,
to start it from scratch. But when you combine a team of people at HBO Max, Warner Brothers, and Discovery and Eurosport, etc., you had the leadership saying, we want to create a product platform first. The
mm,
product platform should have all the basic services that you need: subscription services, advertising services, encode, transcode, DRM, CDN, etc. The player stack, everything should be um, created as a base platform first. Then everything can be instantiated, and that's where the differentiation can happen with a
okay.
Max versus a Eurosport versus a Motor Trend versus everything else that can come through can now be a version of that platform. So it allowed the team to really focus on the most important parts of what they had to do. So when we're looking at video quality, we made sure that there was a commonality across the board. They all use the same mechanism to measure video quality, and we had across the board, we now knew that error rates here and error rates here were the exact same thing because they were the same platform. So now we
Mhm.
could actually help triage and troubleshoot a lot faster as well too. So by doing it that way, you're really maintaining one platform, one product, even though you have lots of different consumer faces. And so that
So
means that the team is a lot more efficient at fixing things.
and there are elements that you will never build yourself. I think payments and things like that. And there are other areas that, but most, I think more as you go closer to the fun experiences, then it's
Yeah,
where you want to maybe create your own little thing,
absolutely.
etc.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things where you saw a reason why there's a massive contraction in the number of employees working on these things is exactly that, which is that if you're building an engineering team to work on designing a product for what's out there in the market today, by the time you're done with it, the market's already evolved 1 year behind you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now you're playing catch up. So there's either you keep on doing that where you're always going to be behind an amazing new subscription type feature, or you're going to work with a partner that's out there whose job it's going to be the best in the industry. And
So it's
and
basically
it's
an architecture where you select the partner, but the granularity of the partner is evolving depending on what is specialized. So before,
exact
I
yeah.
mean, I remember people, and it's what's other case,
Mhm.
working with an end-to-end solution that maybe work with someone starting, not for the big, because that's occurred to the way these companies make money now. So it's this
Absolutely.
architecture with the selected granular partner function to make everything works.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point. That is something that is really it's a benefit of somebody who's large, who has so much revenue coming in that they can afford to say, we are going to use individual components that fit our architecture. But if you're somebody small and you've got 2,000 hours of content, you don't have the time to figure out what's best bet. You need
Yeah,
somebody to say, I've got content on one end of the funnel. I need to get delivery to consumers on the other end of the funnel. And in the middle, I need to make money.
yeah.
Who's got a platform that lets me do everything end to end?
And just to impossible to avoid, let's talk about AI.
Mhm.
In this scenario, I thought my first, because I also I'm working in that area, AI in terms of your insights and intelligence about the audience and the personalization and
Mhm.
subscription. What you were saying before, oh, should I stand Bhavesh? And that's there's a lot of subtle intelligence that has to be created there to do these things.
Yeah.
Where do you see AI impacting the whole streaming from from video to subscription to payment? Will AI change a lot of that, or only some areas?
I think, I mean, I'm sure for you as well too, and for me, it's impacting everything that we do on our day-to-day life just because we use it now to bounce ideas off of, ask questions, figure out what's going on. From a larger scale, if you remember, why are the database companies making so much money is because everyone for the longest time, for how many years now, we've been saving everything. Why? One day we're going to have something that's going to look at all this data and figure out, make sense of all. Guess what? One day is
Yeah,
now.
that's a good
So
point.
so now you've got all this data that's, years old or whatever, that you can now have an intelligent system go inside there, crunch through and look for patterns, look and figure that out. And with AI, it has the ability to think like a human being and actually map out different systems that don't necessarily have the same schema. And it can figure that out automatically and just say, oh yeah, well, this means this means that, tied together, boom, you're off to the races to say, now I'm extracting information from both of these, whether it's for one individual person at a time. So Carlo, if we've got your information, let's see, we pull it from a variety of different sources, and now AI can take a look at that and say, well, what's happening? Let's look at your usage profile. Let's look at that stuff. What kind of content you've been going after, um, and give you a better selection based
Yeah,
on
and and
what you
and
like.
obviously with all the proper, which is now I think standard. We started
Hmm.
using it at the very beginning. It was very sophisticated and complex. You can match my behavior in terms of content consumption,
Yeah.
everything about the device, the how the quality of video delivery, this whatever bitrate. So you can
Hmm.
combine all of that and find patterns. Oh, we noticed that there's a lot of people going from mobile to TV and they stay
Yeah.
long compared to the one that are only whatever. Sorry, I'm just saying. So there is a lot of
Absolutely.
data that AI can help you. What we were trying to do in a very programmatic and rudimental way at the beginning, like maybe what was it, 2017, 18.
Hmm.
Now there is so much more power.
Even a year ago, 2 years ago, in order to pull this information through, you were literally creating massive like programs that analyze this, and you have to like first figure out what did you want to measure in the first place, and then how you're aggregating the metrics, and then what does those metrics mean, and then how do you take action upon those metrics. You had to do so much of the planning just to figure that out. And as the numbers became wieldy, it was something that a human mind couldn't really comprehend when you're looking at 5, 6, 7 dimensions of things
True.
that are affecting your quality.
Mm, mm,
And
mm, mm,
that's where I came back with that comment about there are absolute ways to go in and figure that out. It's just how much money do you want to invest in doing that, compared to if you pointed AI toward not necessarily the quality, but toward your what you liked,
mhm.
what was coming down the pipeline, if you could find information on which ads you actually watched for longer, what did you skip off of. If I'm seeing now that ability to skip an ad, but you still have a 30-second or a 60-second pod. All it's allowing you to do is just skip the ads that you don't like, and you just jump onto another ad. So there's going to be knowledge there about, well, which ads did you not skip, which
Mm,
ads did
mm,
you
mm,
skip
mm.
within the first 2 seconds. How do you start aggregating that information to get better intelligence about, oh, Carlo actually likes these ads, you're willing to sit through those, but you're not willing to sit through these. That in itself is more intelligence about you.
No, no, for sure. With the hybrid models, a lot more data and insights that you can put together. Because maybe, as you
Hmm.
said, I was a subscriber, then I went to the free tier, and
Hmm.
now I'm watching an ad. Then maybe I come back. So yeah, there is a lot of sophistication in that area now.
Absolutely. And I was saying before, different topic, but I think AI is also going to be changing the CDN space. Back to Jeff's comments from last retention zone. It's going to be impacting CDNs in the future in a way that you haven't really seen yet, which is, and I think I remember seeing a study where I think 22% of, I forgot, I've got to get the actual number, but the vast majority of the new data center space is being taken up by AI inference servers. And
Yeah.
so at nighttime, they're all spinning up and they're all trying to churn and create, new embeddings and trying to like retrain new models, etc. All that power and network and the heat, etc., is stuff that they're paying for, which is a capacity that the CDNs can't use
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
And so the
There's one
prices are
thing
going to go up
about
for them.
that.
Mhm.
So maybe let's maybe be the first to talk about churn for AI
Mhm.
tools, right? Because now again, we are in a moment where you can do this amazing thing. Let's pay 39 euro a
Oh
month
my
for this.
God.
Let's pay.
Yeah.
So I'm paying I'm paying so much money to these
Mhm.
people at the moment, and I know it will go down dramatically, or there will be
Yeah.
like and I mean, if you really want to use tools, it's not free. I mean, to be honest, there's some tools that are free, but I mean, if you professionally use them, and at some point there will be someone, because the moment I notice 100% of what I'm paying is through Stripe, which is I mean, it's a good way of doing
Mhm.
it. Maybe because it's Silicon Valley, I don't know. But it doesn't seem, and then the quota, so it's very sophisticated, and also to understand what
Mhm.
you're paying for. At some point, there will be some people starting to say, okay, but these people are churning, or they're not going to the 200 because maybe this is the fourth episode where people talk about churn in AI tools. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, here's the question for you, Carlo, because the churn really happens. So there's the two ways that these AI models are pitching themselves, which is one, subscription for the chat interface. You can
Yeah.
chat all you want inside there.
Yes.
The
Yes.
second interface is the APIs. And with the
Yeah.
APIs, all you're paying for is per million tokens that you're
Yeah.
using. So
So pure
I think there's a
consumption.
lot of yeah. So I think there's going to be a lot of I've seen a lot of aggregators coming out now saying that we're just going to create like an LLM router interface, a
Ah,
GPT router interface where we'll purchase the tokens on your behalf, and you can churn all you want left and right because you're not subscribing to the front end chat interface. You're now subscribing to them, and they're aggregating the information and sending it off through API calls to the backend systems on your behalf.
because
So
the model is very different from streaming. There is an inefficiency in the fact that I'm sure I'm paying. I'm depending on which tool. And I'm talking tools, not API, obviously.
okay,
But
yeah,
I'm sure I'm leaving on the floor 70% of quotas that in theory with a subscription I paid. So
yeah,
you buy, it's a video, Vizard I use for video
mhm, yeah.
editing, and they
Of
have, I don't know, 10,000, whatever minutes. I'm not
yeah,
using all of them. Sometimes I reach the quota and I'm
mhm.
pissed off. Sometimes I don't. So there is an arbitration there already. So it's a different
And
model.
I think this the AI chat front ends can be some of the first to actually go with a day-to-day subscription as well too, because it's not. I mean, it's easier in the billing perspective to bill by the
Yes,
month, but from a usage perspective, how many people actually use it every day? Instead, if you just did it like a per day, a dollar per day,
I do, but that's a, that's a distortion.
right? Yeah, but 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 from that perspective, if you're looking at it, it's whatever it is per day, and you use it. When you use it, you get charged for the day that you use it. You get 24 hours from your first request to when it ends. You can use it all you want and whatnot. Maybe that's a better way to go, and that way there's less incentive to churn. That means you are more likely to say, "I'll have 5, 6 different subscriptions that I just pay for as pay as I go."
Yeah,
Because you're absolutely right. This is a usage. This is not like an entertainment kind of scenario, like a Netflix or a Max or whatever, where you just turn it on and you sit back and you just watch a show for a
yeah,
long time.
I
This
don't.
is I need it for right now. I'm going to work on something like that, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm done for the day. Who knows?
Va bene. I want to leave you to go play that beautiful guitar if you have time today.
Thank you, Carlo.
Okay. So thank you,
And
Bhavesh. Really appreciate it.
Great. Great to be here, and always great talking to you because you and we go back for so long.
Ciao, grazie.
Ciao.